We all understand the type of climate that we're dealing with. We're dealing with multiple offer situations.
I'd love to know sort of what's your why? What makes you tick? Why are you so successful?
Have a dialogue with your lawyer. Have a dialogue with your agent.
Both sort of passionate about sort of what we do.
Again, vet your agent to make sure that they're experienced and they're local. I like that idea.
No excuse to miss it on Saturdays from 8 to 9.
That's right.
WBZ.
And now, the show that gives you the latest and most relevant housing market news. Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shearer and legal professional Ali Alavi.
Effective estate plan. Let's talk about this. I mean, in the previous segment, we talked about David Bowie, and God rest his soul. David Bowie's estate was, I think the last I heard was upwards of $100 million.
That's right. It was $100 million.
Right. And really, we didn't see much earth-shattering, negative, bad news out of that. And I think it's as a result of the fact that he essentially had an effective estate plan.
Well, he put his wishes down on paper. And he didn't leave too much open for a criticism or interpretation. And that's typically what you find in a most effective estate plan that's contemplated those different things. He was in his second marriage, although the second marriage was a very lengthy one. I think he was been married to a man for 27 years. Mm-hmm. They had a child together. And approximately 50% of his estate went to her, and then the other 50% was equally divided between his two children, one from a prior marriage. Notably, he left $1 million to his one-time nanny.
Nice.
And I think I picked the wrong profession.
Yeah, no kidding.
And he also left, I think, $2 million to his personal assistant.
Wow.
So, again, he captured his wishes. He put them down in writing, and it should be something that is executed and carried out.
Yeah, because a lot of times in these situations where you've got famous people, I mean, there's a lot of gray. They leave a lot up to interpretation. I think that's where you see all of this drama and the second, the wife and the second wife and the first wife fighting and kids. And I mean, I think that's so important to have a clear estate plan. How, to people that don't have an estate plan today, what kind of tips would you have to just start writing things down? Is there a checklist? Is there something that they can just kind of put their arms around as they start to move in that direction?
No, I think they should call Michael Baker first.
Of course.
Right. So before they call you, what kind of ducks can they put in a row? What will make that call easier?
Well, they want to really think about who they trust to carry out their wishes. And it's not just always about death. I mean, we always think of an estate plan when someone dies. And oftentimes the most important part of your estate plan are things that work for you while you're alive. Because what happens is if you lose capacity, and it's very likely that that will happen, particularly as we age, you want to have things in writing. You want to have someone that you trust that's going to carry out your wishes. And you want to have people that are ready to stand by in the event that the first person's not available. There's so many people that come into my office, and they don't have an alternate listed. They have their spouse listed as their trusted person to make financial and healthcare decisions for them. Well, more than likely, they're not going to die together. More than likely, one of them is going to become incapacitated, and the other one's going to keep living a normal life. And obviously, if you have someone who's listed as your healthcare agent or your power of attorney who's incapacitated, you have a real problem.
Let me ask you this. So inventory obviously is a stumbling block. We need that. We need more inventory in order to be able to satisfy the demand that the buyers have for the market. What are you seeing as far as the inventory that's coming into the market? Are you seeing individuals in Wellesley and surrounding towns downsizing and wanting to move into the city? Are you seeing people that sort of have outlived the space that they originally bought in and want to be able to move up? What kind of flavor of buyers and sellers are you seeing?
So we're actually seeing a combination. We are seeing a fair amount of over 65, if you will, people who are downsizing. They are moving into Boston because Boston is exciting right now.
Sure.
With everything that's going on down there. We also see a lot of first-time home buyers who are moving out from Boston. Young couple coming out wanting to start a family, or they're about to deliver. So they're buying. We also still get a lot of relocation people who are coming in, and especially like with the new GE, don't know exactly what impact that'll have for people moving, but we do a lot of relocation business, and we get a lot of relocation as well.
What sector of the market, when it comes to Wellesley and surrounding towns touching Wellesley, are international buyers that are interested in purchasing some of these homes?
Yeah, so the international buyers what I've experienced in Wellesley is a lot of them are actually in the higher million plus range, especially in Wellesley. We get in Natick, we're getting a lot of the lower end cash buyers who want to come from China, say, and want to pay cash and then rent it out. So that's pretty much what we're seeing.
How much of the market comprises new construction?
Well, that's an interesting question.
Well, there's not a lot of land there, so I think right now in Wellesley, it's buying a property. It says a tear down, and then building a kind of a McMansion, like we call it, on the land.
Well, the other interesting thing that's happened also since 2008 that I've seen is it used to be that people would sell their house and trade up. And then when 2008 happened, a lot of people just started renovating their houses because it was too expensive to sell and trade up.
And they stay put.
Where we were in that market.
Yeah.
Now it's gone back to sell and trade up, and the lot prices have gone up significantly. You used to get a 10,000 square foot lot for $750,000. Now I just sold one for $950,000.
Wow.
And so, and the builders want 2.5 times to make the profit. So you're looking at $2 million for the builder to make that profit.
When we talk about a note sale, so the previous owner may have been in some sort of financial distress. They had a note with a lender, either a public lender or a private lender, and your organization purchased that note at a discounted price, and then in turn went and foreclosed on the particular property, and that's how you acquired the property.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it. And so that happened in March of last year, I believe.
That's
right?
correct.
And so tell us a little bit about this project. What's so exciting about it?
Well, the Mill in Maine is approximately 1.1 million square feet of real estate.
Hold on. It didn't used to be called Mill in Maine, right?
That's correct.
So it was actually called something else. It was actually called Clock Tower Place, right?
Right. Originally it was a woolen mill back in the 1800s, and apparently was at the time one of the largest woolen mills in the country.
Oh, wow.
And over time, the mill at Maine has become a central part of Maynard. And as the mill goes, so does Maynard, they say. And so this is a key component of the downtown. And we rebranded the complex to Mill in Maine to reflect that, to say that this is the heart of downtown. It's the intersection of Main Street and the mill. And what we're doing is trying to entice people to come to our new complex.
So this was a mill that's now being redeveloped into commercial space.
It's a mill. It's been commercial space. It was the former headquarters of Digital Equipment back in the 70s and through the 80s. And more recently, I guess in the 90s, was the home of Monster.com, who had about 350,000 square feet there.
And just so the listeners can appreciate this, we're talking about 12 buildings in this particular complex.
There are 12 buildings. That's correct.
12 buildings, $1.1 million square feet of commercial space.
Correct, on about 50-acre site, with including a 12-acre pond.
Wow.
And you guys are doing some big things. I mean, you when you guys acquired it, you were only tenanted up about 25%. I can kind of see why the other developer kind of got into some trouble. I mean, that's a lot of real estate to only have 25% going. You've got a lot of great plans for this. You've got secured some great tenants, and you're looking for this to almost be a destination spot as well as a place to go to work and a place to shop.
That's our goal. We're really excited about the improvements we're planning. Some of the things that we're doing are to try to open up the site and make it more user-friendly. A lot of the old mill buildings are very tight, and so opening up some of the square footage, knocking down a couple of very small buildings to make the outdoor spaces more usable and more accessible for folks. Also trying to put more emphasis on the pond, which currently is on the backside of the buildings. So trying to turn the site around so that it kind of faces the pond and makes it more accessible to folks.
Now, we're not just talking about office buildings. We're talking about, and when Rick says a destination, we're talking about perhaps restaurants and shops and that type of thing, right?
Yes, our goal is to bring some new restaurants in. One of the new restaurants that we've just brought in is the Battle Brewing Company. They're going to open a brew pub in one of the buildings.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is very exciting.
Launch date is, I think, sometime in summer, right?
We're looking at the summer, yes. And we're not sure exactly the timing, but they did get their brewing equipment delivered, so we know it's online.
Oh, that's good.
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to the grand opening for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I better get an invite.